New Year's Eve 2021. Manchester waited. Snow clung to curbs, and the Merrimack ran dark as detectives faced a 31-year-old father named Adam Montgomery. They asked the simplest question a parent can answer. Where is your daughter, Harmony? He dodged, denied, went silent. This is the 2-year silence around a missing 5-year-old and the failures that let it happen. Harmony Montgomery was born in 2014 to Adam and Crystal Saray. She was small, social, partially blind in one eye, and full of the kind of light that makes people pause. For a time, she thrived in a foster home that gave her stability and love. But she was also caught in the chaos of two parents who couldn't stay steady, Crystal battling addiction, Adam cycling in and out of prison. Despite Adam's violent record, his history of arrests, and documented instability, a court in early 2019 handed him custody. It felt like a door closing behind a child. The little house on Guildford Street did not keep quiet for long. Neighbors heard shouting. Police were called again and again. A relative told investigators Adam admitted to bashing her around the house. Child protection knocked, looked, and left. Files closed. Warnings faded. During my research, I kept circling this moment in the story. The red flags were everywhere, yet somehow invisible to the people with the power to intervene. It's a silence that still echoes through every page of this case. By late 2019, the family was unraveling. Evicted, jobless, sleeping in a car. Harmony was 5. There were no school records, no pediatric visits, no paper trail, only a mother's unanswered messages. Crystal created new accounts just to ask Adam's wife, Kayla, "Where is my daughter?" The replies never came. And still, nothing. No welfare checks. No school follow-ups. No one connecting the dots between a little girl slipping out of sight and a father with a history of violence. What follows reflects sworn testimony and investigative records presented in court. On December 7th, 2019. Winter pressed down. Living out of the car, Harmony, fearful, traumatized, had an accident. Adam exploded. In the cramped back seat, he assaulted her. She fell unresponsive. No one called for help. No one drove to an ER. Adam slid her body into a duffel bag and kept moving. Car to cooler, cooler to crawl space, even the ceiling vent of a family shelter where the air turned heavy and wrong. Maintenance came when neighbors complained of the smell. By then, the bag had been shifted again. Even after months of research, I still can't make sense of that choice. How silence and fear could replace a child's life so easily. In March 2020, Adam rented a U-Haul. He left after midnight and returned before dawn. The truck would later test positive for Harmony's DNA. The route did not tell the end of the story. It only told us where the trail went cold. Her body has never been found. The clock kept its pace. Crystal kept calling. Across state lines, New Hampshire DCYF and Massachusetts DCF reviewed records. No school enrollment, no verified address. Officials searched abandoned homes. The father could not or would not produce his child. On December 31, 2021, officers finally stopped Adam in a parking lot. He first said Harmony was safe, then that she was with her mother, then nothing at all. Reading those transcripts, you can almost feel the detachment in his words, like even the simplest truth was too much to offer. In January 2022, investigators moved. The first charges were the ones they could prove quickly: assault, endangering the welfare of a child, interference with custody. Kayla Montgomery was arrested for welfare fraud, still claiming benefits for a child no longer in her care. Under pressure, she began to talk. Her account matched the worst fears: the assault in the car, the months of hiding, the night the U-Haul left and came back empty. She admitted she had lied before. Work records showed she could not have been where she once claimed to be. The story that put Harmony safely with her mother collapsed under its own weight. Investigators later searched the old unit, finding a cutout in the ceiling where the vent had been. Fresh paint and scrubbed walls hinted at what had been hidden there. The kind of clean that tries, but never truly erases. Evidence mounted: DNA traces in the shelter, Adam's prints near the vents, the U-Haul swab. State and federal partners expanded the search as tips rose and reward totals increased. According to official releases, tips spiked, rewards grew, and still, the river kept its slow winter course. In early 2024, the state put the murder before a jury. The defense tried to make Kayla the center of the storm, calling her a liar and a betrayer. But the pattern held. The violence in that home, the silence that followed, the concealment that stretched for months. The jury found Adam Montgomery guilty of second-degree murder, abuse of a corpse, and falsifying evidence. In May 2024, he received a minimum of 56 years, layered atop his existing sentence. Kayla took a plea, served time, and was paroled the same year. Even in court records, you can sense the weight of it. A story that began with neglect and ended with a sentence that will outlast the man who caused it. This case did more than break a family. It broke public trust, a custody ruling that ignored a violent past, repeated visits without decisive action, 2 years without school, and no one able to force the question that should have been answered in a minute. Advocates for child welfare reform still point to Harmony's name when demanding change. And in the quiet moments of this research, it's hard not to agree. The cost of silence is always paid by those with the least voice. In my notes, there's a single word circled again and again. Where? Where is Harmony? Searches continue. Rivers, marshlands, wooded edges beyond Boston. Names change on case files, but the question does not. If someone knows anything, they should speak, because the right thing is sometimes only a sentence long. If you have information about Harmony Montgomery or any child at risk, contact local authorities or your state child protection hotline. This is AftermathDocs Crime and Scams. Subscribe now, because the more you know, the safer you are.